If you are 35, you may have told yourself something like this: it's too late to talk about early retirement. I'm still paying off debt. I have kids. The house isn't even paid off. And my job, there's no way I can quit now. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? We grew up believing that we have to work until 60 or 65 to finally rest. That only the lucky ones, those who win the lottery or come from wealthy families, can ever be free early. But the truth is different. All over the world, countless people, standing exactly where you are today, have started over in their mid-30s. And just 10 years later, they reached complete financial freedom. No lottery, no million-dollar startup. Just a smart plan, consistency, and discipline. 35 may sound too late, but in reality, it's the golden age. You've passed the years of impulsive choices. You know what truly matters and what doesn't. And most importantly, you still have enough time to make money work for you. The problem isn't that you started late. The problem is whether you start at all. Now imagine this: 10 years from today. You wake up in the morning not because an alarm clock screams at you, not because your boss messages you, but because you want to do something that day. You have time for family, for your health, for your passions, and money still flows automatically into your account every month. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But it's real, and it's already happening to thousands of people around the world. So how do you turn the next 10 years into the most freeing decade of your life? How do you, even starting from zero, break out of the money treadmill and live life on your own terms? The answer lies in 3 simple steps. Not a secret formula, not luck, but 3 decisions that can completely reshape your financial future. Many people believe that to retire early, the first thing they need is a high income. They say, let me earn more first, then I'll think about saving later. But that's one of the biggest misconceptions about financial freedom. In reality, a high income doesn't make you wealthy. Your financial habits do. I once met a friend in New York who earned over $150,000 a year. He had a nice apartment, a luxury car, fancy dinners every weekend, and international trips twice a year. But there was one thing he didn't have: savings. Whenever the topic of investing or retirement came up, he would laugh and say, I'm not ready yet. Once I make more, I'll start saving. But year after year, as his income went up, so did his spending. In the end, he was still running on the same treadmill, just a faster and more expensive one. Then there's Sarah, a primary school teacher making around $70,000 a year. Not a huge salary, but she had one consistent habit: saving at least 25% of her income. No fancy restaurants, no buying new cars just to impress others. Every month, she quietly invested in the S&P 500 index fund. After 10 years, she had built more than $300,000 in investments, and more importantly, a life free from money anxiety. 2 people, 2 very different incomes. Yet their outcomes couldn't be more opposite. Because true wealth isn't about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep and how well you make your money grow. The real key to freedom isn't your monthly paycheck. It's the gap between what you earn and what you spend. The wider that gap, the more you can buy. Not more things, but more time and choices. Because in the end, we don't really want money. We want freedom. The ability to wake up each day without being forced to do things we hate just to pay the bills. Once you understand that, you'll stop chasing more than others and start focusing on keeping more for yourself. If you're 35 today, maybe you haven't saved much yet, but you can absolutely change direction, starting now. Because every dollar you save today is a brick laid on the path toward your financial freedom 10 years from now. Step 1. Find your few number, your freedom figure. Once you understand that financial freedom isn't about how much you earn, the next step is figuring out exactly how much you need to be truly free. It sounds simple, but most people have no idea what enough actually means for them. They just know they want more. A bigger house? A nicer car? A thicker bank account? But without a clear finish line, and when you don't know your destination, you'll keep running without ever arriving. That's why the concept of an FU number exists, short for financially unshackled number, or more playfully, the forget you number. It's the amount of money that lets you confidently say, I'm done to any job you don't love, without worrying about losing your income. It's the point where your money makes enough money to cover your lifestyle indefinitely. And here's the good news. Anyone can calculate it. It's not a guessing game. There's a clear formula. The 4% rule, the compass of financial freedom. Let's say you invest in index funds like the S&P 500, which have historically grown around 10 to 11% per year. According to the 4% rule, you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year to live on, while the rest keeps growing and replenishing itself. In other words, 4% is the safe withdrawal rate that lets your money last for life. So how do you apply it to yourself? Here's the formula. FU number equal annual expenses, 0.04. If you spend $40,000 per year, you'll need $1,000. If you spend $50,000 per year, you'll need $1,250,000. If you want $100,000 per year, you'll need $2.5 million. Sounds big? Maybe, but remember, you don't need to hit that number overnight. You just need to know where you're heading. Because if you don't know where the peak is, you'll never know whether you're climbing in the right direction. A real-life example. Let's say you're 35 and your current annual spending is $40,000. You want to retire by 45. That means your FU number is $1 million. It sounds huge, but if you save 50% of your income, about $25,000 a year, and invest it with an average return of 10 annually, in just 10 years you could have around $650,000 to $700,000. From there, a few more years, or a small income boost, could take you straight to full financial freedom. The key isn't the number itself. It's knowing exactly what you're aiming for, because once you have a clear target, every financial decision, from buying a house to taking a vacation, has a simple test. Does this move me closer to freedom or further away from it? A powerful truth. When you finally know your FU number, you'll realize freedom isn't as far away as you thought, because every dollar you save today isn't just money, it's a piece of your future life you're buying back. So ask yourself, if 10 years from now you could work because you want to, not because you have to, would that number be worth chasing? In the next part, we'll talk about step 2, finding your baseline. It's where you learn the lifestyle you actually need to feel secure and happy, and take one more step toward retiring free. By 45, step 2, finding your baseline, the lifestyle you actually need. Once you know your freedom number, the next step is to figure out how much you truly need to live comfortably without wasting money. It sounds simple, but this is where most people go wrong. We often confuse living well with living luxuriously. Living well means you have enough comfort, enough happiness. Living luxuriously means spending more just to prove something to others. If you want to retire early, the first question is not, how can I earn more, but rather, how much do I really need to feel happy? This idea is called the essential baseline, the minimum amount you need to live well without feeling deprived. It is like finding the balance point between freedom and desire. Start by reviewing the 3 biggest spending categories in your life. Housing should not exceed 30% of your income. Food, aim for around 10% unless food is something you truly love. Utilities, electricity, water, internet, phone, etc., about 10%. Altogether, these basic needs make up roughly 50% of your income. The rest is your freedom margin, money you can save, invest, or spend on experiences that matter. Imagine this, you earn $3,000 a month, but only need $1,500 to live comfortably. That means you have another $1,500 to $500, or about $18,000 a year, to invest toward your future freedom. Here's the magic. When you live below your means, you're not just saving money, you're buying peace of mind. You stop worrying every time a new bill arrives, and you step out of the endless race to keep up with others. Once you know your baseline, you'll realize that financial freedom isn't a distant dream. It's just a matter of adjusting what you want versus what you need. And when you learn to live comfortably within that limit, every dollar you save afterward becomes a reward, not a sacrifice. In the next part, Step 3, the 10-year retirement roadmap, retirement calculator. I'll show you exactly how to turn these numbers into a practical plan with real-life examples for different saving rates. 10%, 20, 40, and 60. Step 3. Simulate your 10-year path. Retirement calculator. Now you already have the 2 most important things. 1, your freedom number, the FU number you want to reach, and 2, your baseline, the realistic cost of living you need to maintain. So, what's next? We're going to turn those numbers into a clear 10-year roadmap using a retirement calculator, a simple tool that shows how long it will take you to reach financial freedom. Don't worry, you don't need to be good at math or finance. There's only one principle you need to understand. The speed of your freedom depends on your savings rate. Let's look at a real-life example. Imagine you're 35 years old, earning $50,000 per year, and you consistently invest with an average annual return of 10 to 10, which is realistic if you invest in index funds like the S&P 500. Now, let's test 4 different scenarios. Scenario 1, save 10% of your income. You save $5,000 a year, about $410 per month. At a 10% average return, it will take roughly 33 years to reach financial freedom, which means you'll retire around age 68. Sounds familiar? That's the traditional path. Work your whole life, then rest. Scenario 2. Save 20% of your income. You now keep $10,000 a year. Invested wisely, your retirement timeline shortens to 25 years, allowing you to reach freedom around age 60. Better, but still far away. Scenario 3. Save 40% of your income. You save $20,000 per year, or $1,667 per month. With a steady 10% return, you'll need about 16 years to be financially free. That means by age 51, you can step off the treadmill. Scenario 4. Save 60% of your income. Now the numbers truly change. You're saving $30,000 a year and investing every month. Result? In just 10 years, you could retire at age 45. No lottery, no miracle, that just discipline plus consistency. What does this mean? A 50 to 60% savings rate is the magic range. At that level, every dollar you spend has a huge impact on your future, and every dollar you save is one step closer to freedom. And here's the best part. You don't need to double your income to make it happen. Sometimes all it takes is changing your lifestyle, knowing what enough means, and turning the rest into investments for your future. Just imagine this. If you start at 35 and stick to a 60% savings rate, by age 45 your portfolio could exceed $600,000. And with compound growth, just a few more years could push it to $1 million. That $1 million isn't a fantasy number. It's simply the result of 10 years of clarity and intentional living. And when you get there, you'll gain more than money. You'll gain time, choice, and peace of mind. Now you can see, the 10-year path isn't unrealistic at all. It just requires you to think differently, live differently, and spend differently. But there's one silent enemy that quietly pulls millions off this path, even when they start the right way, and that's lifestyle inflation. That's exactly what we'll talk about in the next part. Warning: lifestyle inflation. By now, you've seen it clearly. With discipline and consistency, the next 10 years can completely change your life. But there's one silent enemy that quietly steals that chance from millions of people, even those who have good income, clear goals, and a solid plan. That enemy is called lifestyle inflation. It starts so subtly, you get a raise and you think, I deserve something better. So you replace your perfectly fine car, move into a bigger apartment, buy a few nice-to-have things you barely use. Everything seems justified. After all, you worked hard for it. But little by little, your spending ceiling rises and rises. You don't notice it until one day your salary has doubled, yet your savings look exactly the same. That's how millions of people stay stuck in the financial hamster wheel. Income goes up, spending goes up, life doesn't really change. You work harder, feel more pressure, just to maintain a lifestyle that quietly drains your freedom. Here's the truth. A fancier lifestyle doesn't make you happier. It just delays your freedom even longer. If your goal is to retire at 45, let your savings rate grow with your income, not your expenses. Every time your paycheck increases, commit to investing at least half of that raise. Do it consistently and you'll see your freedom arrive faster than you ever imagined. Because real wealth isn't about what you show off. It's about having the power to live life on your own terms. If you're 35, stop for a moment and think about this. 10 years ago, you were 25, still figuring things out, maybe unsure where life was heading. And those 10 years flew by faster than you ever realized. The next 10 will too. So the real question is, what do you want your 45-year-old self to look like? Someone still buried in bills, pressure, and endless meetings, or someone free? Free to choose how to live, what to do, and who to spend time with? It all depends on what you decide today. You don't need a perfect start. You just need one clear decision that from now on your money will work for you instead of you constantly working for money. Three simple steps. 1. Know your FU number. 2. Define your real baseline lifestyle. 3. Keep your savings rate between 50 to 60. Those alone can be the keys to a life no longer ruled by a paycheck. Financial freedom isn't a race. It's an awakening. A journey where you realize what truly matters. When you live simply enough, save consistently enough, and invest patiently enough, 10 years from now, you'll look back and say to yourself, I'm so glad I started when I did. If this video made you believe that 35 is not too late, leave a small sign, a like, a comment, or just share it with someone who needs to hear this. Because who knows? You might not only change your own future, but also inspire an entire generation after you. See you at 45 when you no longer work just to live, but finally live the way you choose.